Envision a Ben 10 world where the Omnitrix not only contains alien DNA, it funnels the raw, unbridled emotions of all conscious beings in the universe. Fear, courage, sadness, curiosity turns Ben into a different alien whose abilities are related to the emotion. But what happens when a power-hungry villain begins causing emotional pandemonium throughout the galaxy? Can Ben learn to control his own heart to stop him? Fasten your seatbelts, heroes, because this is Ben 10. What if? And it gets emotional. If you're a Ben 10 fan, you know the Omnitrix is the best device, which enables Ben to transform into aliens by tapping into their DNA. Let's flip this scenario though. What if the Omnitrix was powered by emotions instead, converting Ben into aliens that embody feelings like courage, fear, sadness, or curiosity? This isn't a matter of cool new powers, this is a psychological adventure that forces Ben to confront his inner self in ways he never has. Today, we're diving into a galaxy-spanning story where Ben battles a villain who is wielding emotions as a weapon. And we're going to break down the real-world science and philosophy it's all built on. From brain science to emotional intelligence. This What If is packed with stuff you can apply to level up your own life. Before we start, like you're excited for an emotions-powered Omnitrix, and stick around to the end for a twist that's going to blow your mind. Let's do this. Meet Emovox, a rogue empatharian from a planet where emotions are a literal energy source. This guy's not your average villain. He's a master manipulator who feeds on emotional chaos. Emovox has hacked Ben's Omnitrix, rewiring it to connect to the emotional spectrum of the universe. Now, every transformation is triggered by whatever emotion Ben's feeling most intensely. Sounds awesome, right? Well, not quite. Emovox is broadcasting a signal that amplifies negative emotion sphere. Anger, despair across entire star systems. Planets are falling into chaos. Riots on Galvan Prime. Despair on Petropia. Even the Tetramans are too angry to think straight. Ben, Gwen, and Kevin are on a mission to stop Emovox, but the emotional Omnitrix is making things complicated. Every time Ben tries to transform, the Omnitrix picks his dominant emotion. And let's just say Ben's not exactly a Zen master. This is a battle where heart and mind have to work together. Or the galaxy's toast. Let's become familiar with the heroes of this emotional Omnitrix. First up, Valorian, the courage alien. Envision a gold-plated behemoth of a warrior with a glowing chest plate and fists that emit shockwaves that can knock over city blocks. When Ben's courage is unwavering, Valorian's shockwaves are unstoppable. But when Ben loses his nerve, those punches have little to no effect. Envision for arms in the body of a motivational speaker. Then there's Phobix, the fear alien. This slimy, snake-like monstrosity navigates through shadows with piercing red glowing eyes and the power to immobilize enemies by inflicting their worst nightmares. Phobix is formidable when it comes to sneaking, but when Ben's fear crosses the line, Phobix attacks the team, scaring everyone and Gwen and Kevin. Yay, not ideal for a team fight. Inquiro, the curiosity alien, is next. This long, multi-eyed alien looks like a combination of gray matter and an over-caffeinated librarian. Inquiro is able to break through illusions, dismantle patterns, and solve hard puzzles in a matter of seconds. But if Ben's curiosity gets too aimless, Inquiro starts pursuing redundant clues, like trying to decipher the random alien graffiti wall in the middle of a battle. And then there is Lamentra, the sadness alien. That otherworldly, tear-filled alien with streaming blue tendrils can manipulate water and create emotional resonance, calming friends or attacking foes with despair. Lamentra is most effective when Ben embraces his sorrow, but if he remains there long enough, she becomes a sobbing mess, oversaturating the battlefield. Ben's emotional Omnitrix is a two-edged sword. Under stress, he turns into Phobix and frightens an entire village by accident. Under despondent over failing, Lamentra manifests and overwhelms the team's spaceship unfortunate Kevin. Gwen's trying to ground Ben, but even she's about to lose her temper. Meanwhile, Emovox's signal is getting stronger, covering entire planets in emotional gloom. The team follows him to a desolate moon, where he's built an emotional amplifier giant emitting waves of sorrow. In the climactic fight, Emovox unleashes all his might on Ben. He's amplifying Ben's self-doubt, reliving all the errors Ben's ever committed each time he let someone down. Every battle he almost lost. The Omnitrix overloads, trapping Ben in Phobix, who's eating his fear and duplicating it. Gwen and Kevin are trapped, and Emovox has apparently won. Ben then remembers why he fights, for his family, his friends, and all the worlds depending on him to save them. He reaches deep within himself, drawing on strength and hope, and the Omnitrix responds by transforming him into Valorian in full force. With a cry of battle, Valorian unleashes a shockwave so great that it reduces Emovox's amplifier to nothingness, generating waves of constructive energy waves across the galaxy. Worlds are healed, and Emovox is defeated, his own feelings shattered by Ben's resolve. It's a victory that proves the greatest power isn't in your fists, it's in your heart. Let's take a break from the Ben 10 universe and talk about science in real life. Ben's failure to keep his emotions under control is an age-old case of emotional intelligence, or EQ. Psychologist Daniel Goleman explains EQ as having the ability to recognize and control your feelings in an effort to make wiser decisions. Research, including at Yale's Center for Emotional Intelligence, shows people with high EQ are able to better deal with stress, resolve conflicts, and even excel at school or in the workplace. For Ben, it was about selecting the right alien at the right time. For you, it could be staying cool for a big test or sensing a fellow friend out when they're struggling. Here's how the next time you're under stress. Take a breath and recognize your feeling. That's self-awareness, the start. Of EQ, Ben learned it the hard way. But you can start today. Now let's get in your head. Feelings aren't emotions though, they're often triggered by them. They're wired into your biology. The amygdala, that small almond-shaped region of your brain, is the fight-or-flight alarm system for fear and anger. When Ben's fear got a hold of him and he became Phobix, that's his amygdala in overdrive, telling him to act on impulse without regard. But the prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of the brain, can override the amygdala. Experiments by neuroscientists like Joseph Ledoux confirmed that the practices like mindfulness will tighten this link even more, and you will be more in charge. Ben's story explains how our brains work. When he decided to use his courage, it was as if his prefrontal cortex was behind the wheel, which enabled him to choose Valorian instead of Phobix. Interesting fact, just 10 minutes a day of meditation will enhance your brain to manage emotion. Give it a shot, and you might be a superhero. Let's think deep. The ancient philosophers, such as Aristotle, believed that a good life is the result of finding balance in feelings, not stifling them, but wisely guiding them. Ben's emotional Omnitrix made him balance fear with courage, despair with hope. This in philosophy is known as the golden mean, embracing the middle path. Too much fear paralyzes you, but too little makes you arrogant. Ben's victory was due to the acceptance of all his emotions, not the good ones only. Think of your life. When did you manage to put your emotions in balance to make a hard choice? Comment below. Let's encourage each other to find our own golden mean. This heart-centered Omnitrix redefines Ben 10 as a sweeping action adventure with an in-depth exploration of what it is to be human. Ben's lesson is that mastering your feelings is superheroes' work. It's something we can do for ourselves. So, what do you want? An Omnitrix based on feelings? Who would you be? Courageous Valorian, sneaky Phobix, curious Inquiro, or emotional Lamentra? Leave your what-if suggestion in the comments and let us know your own Ben 10 what if. If you liked this tear-jerking adventure, subscribe and the bell so that you do not miss our next Ben 10 what if. Share this video with your fellow Ben 10 fans, and let's get the Omnitrix rotating. Thanks for watching. Heroes, stay strong, stay curious, and we'll catch you in the next one.